Good afternoon and a very warm welcome indeed to today's iOB business webinar. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on here. My name is Ben and I'm the resident business coach here at iOB Business. Now, throughout today's conversation, throughout today's webinar, we'll run you through a little bit about how they operate just so that you can get the absolute most from today's session as we get kicked off for today. Okay, so right before we get kicked off, we do a brief introduction with myself. Once again, my name is Ben, just to familiarize you with myself and with the layout that we're going to be running through today. Now, if this is your first time joining us and you do have any questions, you have anything that you'd like to jot down, don't worry. Please take your time throughout today's webinar because we will be taking a moment in between each of the three core topics today, giving you a chance to run through anything that you want to run through or indeed jot down any notes and fire away with any questions you might wish to ask as well. Always a pleasure to answer them. So please don't be shy throughout today's session. Okay, now for those of you rejoining us, welcome. Once again, lovely to see you. You'll be familiar with how these webinars operate, but we're just running through it again there just to make sure everybody is up to date. Now, at the end of today's webinar, we will also do a Q&A session where we're going to answer all the questions that have been asked throughout today's session. So if you do have any, once again, please don't be shy in asking away with the questions. Okay, so right as we're approaching the 2 o'clock mark, I'm going to go ahead and switch off my video camera. So you shouldn't be able to see my face anymore, but you should still be able to hear my voice. And I'm going to go ahead and get the presentation up on screen for you there as well. So in just a moment's time, you should be able to see that. Okay, so you should no longer be able to see my face, but you should still be able to hear my voice, and you should be able to see the presentation that we have up on screen there for you as well. So right before we get kicked off, if you could please just do me a big favor, drop in the chat box a yes or a 1 or a thumbs up, anything to let me know that you are indeed ready to go and you can hear me crystal clear and the presentation is up on screen for you there. Now, whilst we are going through that, if you do have any technical difficulties today, if anything happens with the webinar, not that we ever have anything like this, but if there is, just on the off chance, please don't be shy in dropping us into the chat box, let us know, and we can square you up. Okay, awesome. So anything throughout today's session, do let us know. We'll do our absolute best to make sure that you are always tuned in. Okay, so without further ado, let us get kicked off on today's session. 3 concrete lead generation techniques for a new business. Okay, wonderful topic, something that's very productive, something that we find gets asked an awful lot when it comes down to new businesses and sort of things that are getting asked. Okay, and one of the main questions we get is, how can I generate leads for my new business? And that is exactly what we're going to cover with you on today's session. Okay, so let's get kicked off then. Your presenter today is myself. My name is Ben. I'm a business coach and I specialize in working with small businesses, just like many of those on here, just like many of those prospecting businesses on here, to help them achieve stability and growth. Okay, it's my passion, it's what I love to do, and I'm so blessed to get to do it every single day and be on webinars like these with you. Okay, so today's discussion points. Number 1, local brand awareness. Okay, this is a massive one, and it's something that we really cannot emphasize enough when it comes to especially new businesses. People need to know that you exist, because if they don't know that you're there, it's very difficult for them to take action and do something about the fact that you are there. Okay, number 2, always online. Okay, so we're going to talk about what this means in good detail. It's a very interesting subject and something that I feel would be very productive that we speak about in the second topic of today's discussion. And finally, number 3, be a little wacky and wild. Okay, this is one that I love talking about. We put it at the end there because it's one of my absolute favorite things to run through with you. And the reason is because it's fun. It's good to be a little bit different. It's good to be a little bit wacky and try things that aren't necessarily being tried. So we'll cover that when we get to topic number 1 of today's session. Topic number 3, sorry, of today's session. Okay, so beginning with number 1, local brand awareness. Okay, now, a very popular way that new businesses get themselves off the ground is by introducing themselves to the local market. Okay, now believe it or not, this may seem, you say, oh, Ben, that seems so obvious. Why are you saying that to me? And the reason I'm saying it is because introducing yourself to the local market is something that so few businesses think about doing. Now, I believe personally that one of the reasons behind this system, this thought system that's being employed by new businesses is, well, they're just going to look at me and think that I'm trying to make money. Okay, well, of course you are. And you know what? My advice to you here, my answer to you here is, of course you are. Every single other business you see on the high street is also trying to make money. Every single business you see online in your local area is also trying to make money. There is nothing wrong with making money, and it should not be a taboo thing to talk about or to think about. Now, your introduction to the local market, the chances are your service, okay, which, what any one of your digital services is going to provide value and benefit to whoever you decide to offer it to. For example, paid advertising brings them leads, brings them, potentially more money, brings them potentially more clients, all this kind of wonderful things. Okay. Now that's just one example of any one of number of digital services that you may choose to offer. Okay. But what you should do is introduce yourself to the local market. Now, the easiest ways to do this, you can do flyer drops in with local businesses. If you really want to go out there, you can do flyer drops in through, local houses and doors. Now, you could also get yourself in local community groups, local Facebook groups, Instagram posts, social media posts. Okay, you can take out adverts in a local paper. Let people know that you're there, especially that you're a local business willing to help other local businesses. Okay, so few businesses do this, and especially the online businesses. It is even more important for them to make sure that people know that they exist, because in reality, if you're working from your house, you're working from an unmarked office. Okay, unmarked, I mean, there's no signage out front or anything like that. Okay, it's very, very difficult for people to know that you're there. Whereas a local cafe opens up on the main street, they've got a big sign, they've got people inside. It's very, very obvious that they're there. Okay, but the thing for online businesses is you have to try harder. You have to try harder to market yourself, because people won't know you're there. Okay, it's so easy to stay invisible. If you don't advertise, you don't take out any kind of magazine posts, you don't post on social media, you don't do flyer drops, you're essentially invisible. And if you're invisible, it becomes very, very difficult for people to know. Okay. For example, even when you're walking around your local supermarket, get a little jumper, get a little t-shirt or something that says the name of your business on the back. Okay. Always be advertising. Okay. That is something that I so truly believe in. Advertise, advertise, advertise. Because somebody could see your car or, the shirt that you were wearing in Asda. Okay. And then 3 months down the line, they could think, oh, what was the name of that digital marketing agency that we saw again? Because we could do with something like that. And then they see your car drive past and they think, yes, that was them. Okay. People don't always action this stuff immediately, but it's about brand awareness. It's about introducing yourself to the local market. Now, whether you're B2C or B2B, this could be an effective strategy for you. Okay. B2C means to consumer, and B2B means to businesses. Okay. Business to business, business to consumer. Now, if you were, let's say, a good example of business to consumer in the digital world could be potentially, sort of selling products or helping them out in some kind of personally applicable way. Now, most commonly, what you'll find is that digital marketing agencies are working on a B2B basis, business to business. Okay, so that means essentially you help another business get clients. For example, you go to a local florist and they want to sell more flowers, so you decide to do an SEO program for them. You take out an advert in the local digital magazine for them, and you run paid ads for them. Okay, that would be your typical examples of both. So you got B2C, business to consumer, or B2B, business to business. Okay, now this could be an effective strategy for you, whichever way you look at it. Okay, now it takes confidence to start conversations, and this is something that I truly, truly believe in, and it's very difficult to do, very difficult to achieve. So what we have to think about here is the confidence that we're taking into these conversations. Okay, if it takes confidence to start conversations, we've got to think about, okay, well, local brand awareness. We've got to think about the types of things that we're doing to start these conversations. Okay, but more importantly, sort of over and above anything else, we've got to make sure that you understand your product, you understand your service. Okay, you understand that it is going to take a certain level of confidence to start these conversations, especially when it comes to local market and local brand awareness. You have to be in the area with these people. Okay, you have to be in with these businesses. You have to be willing to start a conversation. You have to be willing to go for a sandwich in a local cafe and get chatting to the owner. Okay, it does take confidence, and confidence comes from practice. Practice makes perfect. Perfect makes confidence. There's never any kind of perfect scenario. But once you become very, very well versed in this, okay, you will find yourself naturally becoming more confident, naturally more able to start these conversations. Please do not be shy in talking about what you do, okay? Because those who are shy talking about what they do, unfortunately, get, I would imagine, very much less business than those who are confident, those who are telling the world what they do, okay? You want to be loud, you want to be known, you want to be recognized. You want to walk down your high street and people say, hey, that's the social media person, or hey, that's the digital marketing person, or that's the paid ads person, okay? They're very, very talented at what they do. So please do not let local brand awareness slip away from you. And if you're not overly confident in talking about these things, have confidence and faith in your business, have confidence and faith in a service that you deliver, and have confidence that you are entitled to talk about what you do. Please do not be embarrassed or ashamed by talking about money or by looking like you're in it for money. Everybody needs a living and an income to survive. Nobody goes into a bakery and says, oh, you're only trying to sell me these sausage rolls because you're trying to make money. Okay, they're going in because they want sausage rolls and they're happy that the bakery is providing them. But the bakery, the owners of the bakery, they need to make money. Okay, so when everyone knows you, it becomes very hard to ignore you. You will be seen all the time. And what you want to be in the position of doing is every and any time people think about, I need a digital marketing specialist, or I need a paid ad specialist, or a social media specialist. Anytime you need these people, anytime people need these services, you want to be the person that gets thought of. Okay, you want your business to be the thing that gets thought of. Now, in your local area, I'm guessing there'll be an electrician, a plumber, a joiner, these types of people in these trades. And there will be one that you recognize off the top of your head. You'll be thinking to yourself, okay, yes. So if I need an electrician, I would go here. If I need a plumber, I would go here. Okay, if I want to go for a sausage roll, I'll go there. If I want to go for a sandwich, I'll go there. You get to know these places, and most likely it's because you've been in them the most times. And if you're thinking about hiring or employing someone that doesn't have a physical shop front, it's probably because you've seen their van about the most times. Okay. When everyone knows you, it becomes very hard to ignore you. Okay. So that brings us to the end of topic number 1. Please do take a moment now to jot down any notes. Do indeed fire away with any questions that you might have as well. And I'll be right back with you again in just a moment's time for topic number 2. Okay, wonderful. So hopefully you've had a chance to do that now, and we can move on to topic number 2, which is always online. Okay, so we're looking at the practical considerations of working with these businesses and figuring out exactly how we can make sure that we're always being seen, always being recognized, and generating these new leads for our business to give ourselves the best possible start in the market as a new business. Okay, so first of all, be online, but don't hide behind the screen. Okay, now what this seemingly confusing point really means, okay, and let's explain it in good detail. I want you to be online. I want you to be available. I want you to be posting. I want you to be messaging with people, but don't hide behind the screen. Okay. Many of us spend so much time behind these screens when it comes to marketing because we're doing social media posts, or we're doing this, that, the other thing. We're putting ourselves in online magazines. We're doing podcasts, which is wonderful. Okay. But we begin to sort of tell ourselves this illusion that, oh, well, if I spend enough time doing this, then that really means that I don't actually have to go and see anyone in person. I don't actually have to tell people in person that I have a business. I don't have to actually be there dealing with people, talking about conversation, talking about business, talking about money. Now, the reason I want you to let go of this philosophy is because it's not strictly true and it's not strictly untrue. Okay. But I do not want you to hide behind the screen because it doesn't bode well for your confidence in general. Okay. It can make you shy of having video calls. It can make you shy of having conversations in real life, conversations, in person about the businesses and services that you offer. Okay. Now, I want you to be online, be accessible all the time, because that's the way that the digital age is going. The modern world is bringing this kind of online access further and further and further into our hands. Okay. But what we have to make sure is that we don't hide behind the screen, because if you do so, maybe subconsciously you'll begin over time to realize, actually, I don't have as much confidence in talking to people about my business in person as I used to. I don't really like going to networking events anymore because I could just do it all online. There's even online Zoom sessions and things, for networking events. So please don't hide behind the screen. Okay. Please allow yourself the confidence and the ability to go out and actually speak to other people in person about the work that you do. Okay. Now, the more you post, the more you share, the more people recognize the name. Okay. We're talking about brand awareness again here in a different way. This isn't just local. This is, national, if not global. Okay. Depending on where your market is. So the more you post, the more you share, the more people recognize the name. Okay. Even if you're not posting something necessarily important. Now, one thing that happens on social media kind of platforms is the more that you post, the more they'll begin to sort of almost promote your stuff. Okay, the more people will see it. So even if your first few posts, they don't really get any engagements, comments, nobody sees it, that's fine. That's okay. But the chances that it's doing that is because you hardly ever post. If you post all the time, this social media platform will say, well, this person's really, really trying. Let's show their stuff to a few more people. Okay, so the more you post, the more you share, the more people recognize the name. Now, that's one way of it happening. The second way is that even if you post something that isn't necessarily groundbreaking, isn't necessarily world-class, okay, because it doesn't have to be. So even if this is the case, okay, always try and make the content good, but more importantly, just make sure that you're continually sharing, because in doing so, in doing this, people will see your name again and again and again. They'll be like, what does this person do? They're always posting about this kind of stuff. What is it that they do? Okay. And if you think about, again, people that you see on Facebook, even if you don't follow their business page, I could guarantee you to an extent that you know what they do for work. Okay. So the more the post, the more you share, the more people recognize the name. And again, what does name recognition bring? It brings the idea of safety. It brings the concepts of security. It makes sure that you are really already a trustworthy person before the person's even spoken to you, because they see you all the time, the same as they see a trade person's van driving around. Okay, so consistently seeing content from an individual or a business builds subconscious trust. It builds subconscious rapport. They almost feel, to a certain extent, like they actually know you on a personal level, because they see the way you write, they see the way you speak. If they see you post videos, they'll be familiar with your face, with your voice, you know, how you conduct things, how you conduct these meetings. They'll feel very, very, very comfortable with you. And that's not because you've worked super, super hard to get somebody to trust you. It's not because you've done any kinds of, you know, trust exercises or anything hyper important like that. It's just the fact that they see you all the time. And somebody that you see all the time just builds a trustworthy presence in your mind. Okay. It's something that you like. Now, unless you have a particularly bad opinion of something that you see all the time, for whatever reason, maybe, you know, somebody you know has had a negative experience with them or whatever. But unless this is the case, the chances are, when you think of hiring a spark, you know, electrician, that's what we call it up in here in Scotland, you know, electrician, plumber, roofer, whatever. Okay. Now, in this case, digital marketing, paid ads, SEO, social media, blog writing, copywriting, whatever. Okay. If they see you all the time, the chances are they're going to think of you first when they need something like this done. Okay. So engage, engage, engage. People want to converse, allow them the opportunity. Okay. People want to speak. People want to have conversations with you. People want to ask questions, but you have to be there, accessible and available for them to do that. Okay. Try and be available within reason on your sort of Messenger, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, stuff like that, because people will have questions. Now, the other big thing here is it's good to answer the big questions before. Okay. So if they're wondering what kind of services you offer, or what kind of prices you charge, or at least what price range you're in, or how to get a quote, or how to, you know, get a proposal written, or if they can have an audit, is the audit going to cost money? Is it free? All of these things should be answered really just from looking at your Facebook page, your website, your social media pages, etc. Make it very, very clear what you offer, how you offer, when you offer it, as much as you possibly can. Because again, think about any time you've ever visited a business page. If it's vague, it doesn't really talk about what they do, there's not much information on it. It's so cliche, but it's so true. You probably aren't going to hire them. They could be the best person in the world at what they do, but if they're not telling you what they do, how they do it, how much they're going to charge for it, you're probably not even going to open that conversation, because you're panicking that if I speak to them, oh, they might even try and charge me, you know, to respond, or they might try and charge me to have a conversation. Okay. So make sure that all of this is made absolutely clear. Make sure that it's made clear that you're going to have free audits, free consultations. It's not going to cost them anything to ask questions or even get an account review or anything like that. And you could even try and make your pricing clear, the way you work clear as well, just to be even more helpful. Okay. So engage, engage, engage. Always be online, but don't hide behind the screen. So that brings us to the end of topic number 2. I'm going to give you once again just a brief moment to ask away with any questions, and indeed jot down any notes before we get cracking on topic number 3. And I'll be right back with you in just a moment's time. Okay, fantastic. So let's get ourselves on to the third and final topic of today. Okay, be a little wacky and wild. It's something that I absolutely love talking about. You could probably hear the passion in my voice and how much I enjoy speaking about this kind of thing. Okay, be a little wacky and wild. Now, what do I mean by saying this? Okay, right. Okay, Ben, what are you talking about? Well, let's clarify this. Okay, let's talk about something that is so fun, so exciting. Now, what is stopping you from trying something that you've not done before? Okay, I want you to just think right now, please, if you don't mind, in your head, what is stopping you from doing something that you've not done before? Is it fear of embarrassment? Is it fear of, you know, something going wrong? Is it fear of disruption? Is it the fact that you just don't want to do these kinds of things? Okay, but what's stopping you from trying something that you haven't done before? Okay, now what we like to do as human beings, it's simply in our nature to stick to things that we've done before. Why? Because it's safe. Even if they didn't work particularly well, we know that we've done it before and it was safe, it was good, it was okay, it worked out. Okay, but was it exceptional? Was it an amazing result for little effort, or was it an amazing result, period? Okay, what's stopping you from trying something that you haven't done before? And I referenced this question to you because I asked the same in many, many different ways in many of my coaching sessions. Okay, I ask these questions because they're open-ended questions. They're questions that encourage you to think outside the box. They're questions that encourage you to question why you haven't done something before. Okay. Now, like I said, the main reason that most of us don't do something that we have not done before is because it's unsafe in our head. We believe that, oh, there's risk involved there. I don't like risk. Let's not do that. Okay, let's go back to what we do know. Let's take out a safe advert that we know will provide a little bit of income for a little bit of expenditure, and that's fine. Okay, and that's fine. You can always take on like that. But the chances of completing or achieving anything significant, anything exceptional, without trying something that you haven't done before, okay, unless you're already doing everything in the book, is very, very unlikely. So those who dare to step out of the box and create a shocking experience that lasts in people's minds, okay, these people who are willing to try things that have not been done before, okay, there's, let's say, for example, two local businesses going in a battle for something, okay, two bakeries going in to see who can make the best pies, to make the best sausage roll, to make the best sandwiches, and then they invite local people to come and try. Okay, now in reality, it doesn't matter who wins the competition. It doesn't matter if business A or business B wins that competition. What matters is that they have brought this awareness from all around, okay, all throughout the local community. They have tried both of the food from both of the places, and if they're both amazing, all these people now know about them. All these people might come back. So both of these businesses are winners, okay, because people know them. People know of their product, know of their service, know of the things that they can do, that they offer, okay. This is beneficial. This is a big win. And something like that, it takes the business out of the business, okay? It takes out that concept of some of the consumer's mind that, oh, they're just trying to make money. It turns it into fun. It turns it into something that people want to follow. It releases that stigma that, oh, we shouldn't look at that because they're just trying to profit off of us, okay? It releases that stigma and it creates something fun. It creates a duel, it creates a battle, it creates, who's going to be the winner. It's a story that people can follow, and it's a story that people can get involved with, and they love that, okay? In addition to that, you see other people doing big things. If you've ever seen outside the shops, it's more of an American thing, but you see people spinning these big signs around saying, sale this way, or free pizza this way, or whatever. Okay. Again, it's creative, it's out of the box. And the reason, you're creating a shocking experience. You don't, especially in the UK, expect to see someone at the side of the road dressed in a costume, dressed in a pizza costume, advertising pizza. You're going to remember it, and you're going to remember the pizza shop that was doing it. Okay. It's an experience that lasts in people's minds. It's something that, if you just got a coupon through the door for free pizza, or not even free pizza, just a takeaway menu, for example, you might think, okay, well, yeah, maybe try them at some point, probably. Okay. But if you see someone standing outside the shop front, okay, and you see them doing this with this massive amount of dedication, dressed in this pizza costume, waving the sign around, you're going to think to yourself, wow, they're really, really trying to get my custom. Okay. So observe your day to day. Look for people doing wild and wacky things. Are you more likely to pay attention to them than an average passerby? Okay. If you see somebody walk past you and they've got blue hair versus somebody who's got, normal colored hair, say blonde, brown, black, whatever. Okay. Now, are you going to find that that person stands out to you more? Okay. Not to say that blue hair isn't normal. It is for some people. Okay. So whatever these people like to do, but in theory, are you going to remember somebody more who's got different colored hair, for example, like red, orange, pink, blue, a kind of big, loud color? Okay. Are you going to remember somebody who was carrying some strange object? Are you going to remember somebody who's carrying a grand piano above their head walking down the street? Okay. You're going to remember them more than you're going to remember somebody who sort of blends in with the day to day. Okay. Now, that same rule applies to business. What is everybody else doing? Can you do something different? Can you do something to step out of the crowd? Now, I think it's amazing that these people, they dress differently, they have different colored hair, they do whatever they want to stand out from the crowd because they don't want to blend in. Okay. I'm guessing that's the majority of the reason that these people do it. They want to be recognized. They don't want to blend in with what everybody else is doing. And that's amazing. That philosophy can be carried into business. What can we do to stand out from the crowd? Okay. So are you more likely to pay attention to them than an average passerby? Okay, now allow your creativity to flow and worry about little else. Okay, as long as it's safe, as long as there's not any humongous financial risk involved, it can be fun to do this. If it's affordable, it's fun. It's not going to cause any damage or anything silly like that. It's fun to just try these wacky and wild things and step out of your comfort zone a little bit. Okay, competitions, public events, public barbecues. Okay, could your business put a couple of £100 into hosting a public barbecue? Okay, and invite local people there? Probably. Okay, now you don't have to do that. It's just one idea, but it's something that you could do, and it's something that people would remember you for. Okay, so allow this creativity to flow and worry about little else. Now, that brings us to the end of topic number 3. I'm going to give you a chance now to jot down any notes, and please do indeed ask away with any questions that you might have. Okay, and we will make sure that we answer them for you in the Q&A session just after the recap here in just a moment's time. All right, perfect. So let's dive on to the recap for today's session. Point number 1, make sure everyone knows about you, okay? Absolute paramount importance. The more people that know about you, the more people that can do business with you. Number 2, always be online and be in the eyes of your audience. If you're not online, you're invisible, okay? If you're inaccessible, it's very, very difficult to get anything done. And number 3, try something out of the box. Try something that hasn't been done before, okay? Try something that will shock people in a good way where they will remember you. Okay. So, as always, a massive thank you for taking the time to attend today's session. It's been an absolute pleasure presenting to you. If you'd like to talk to a member of our team, you can head over to iob-business.com/talk-to-us. And you can go ahead on here and book a call at a time that suits you. So when you go onto this link, you'll see a calendar just like this one. I'm going to leave this up online for you just now, whilst I go and grab the questions from you lovely people that I have in today. Okay, perfect. Wild and wacky sounds risky. Yeah, sure does. But what you've got to do is conduct a risk assessment here. Keep it safe but fun. Okay, conduct a risk assessment. Is there anything major that could go wrong? Does it cause anyone safety concerns? Is there anything potentially dangerous? You know, as long as it's not massively expensive, it's not dangerous, it's totally safe, it's kosher, it's above board, happy days. Okay, it does sound risky, but sometimes we have to take calculated, careful risks in order to do something that we haven't done before. Okay, if it was completely risk-free and you know, risky in the sense, I'm guessing what you mean is it might make people think that you're a bit silly, or it might make people think that, you know, give a negative opinion on your business or whatever. But a good way to kind of always be confident with this is make sure that whatever you're doing still aligns with your core values. So I'm not saying if you're a digital agency owner, jump out and dress yourself in a pizza costume. Okay, if you sort of want to take on serious say corporate clients, for example. But what I am saying is, you know, host a company barbecue, or, you know, do something for the community, you know, do a charity drive, do a toy drive, things like this. Okay, it's really, really nice to get yourself recognized. Now, I hope that answers your question. Thanks ever so much for letting me answer it. Number 2, speaking to local business owners is really intimidating. I agree. In order to progress, we must do things we have never done before. Okay, there's a first time for everything. There's a first time you do a cold call. There's a first time you'll go and speak to somebody in person. There's a first time that you'll introduce your business to somebody else. Okay, we have to do these the first time, second time, third time, 10th, 20th, 40th, 60th time before maybe we feel confident. Okay, confidence comes at a different point for different people. Certain ways to help with this is forget about anything. Forget about anything that could go wrong. Stop forecasting the fact that you're going to embarrass yourself. Stop forecasting the fact that you might mince your words or not know what to say. You start to think too far ahead. You start to make yourself anxious. You start to make yourself think, oh, I don't want to do it. I'm going to embarrass myself. I'm going to get it wrong. Okay. So really my personal tip for enhancing your own confidence is stop forecasting. Stop thinking ahead of time that something's going to go wrong, and just go with it. And the more you do it, the more confident you'll become. Wonderful question. Thanks for asking. Okay, cool. So any more questions from today? No, looks like that is us. Okay, wonderful. Well, as always, I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. Thank you ever so much for taking the time to join us on today's iOB business webinar. It's been an absolute pleasure presenting to you, and I very much look forward to seeing you again on the next iOB business webinar. Take care and bye for now.